I'm going to be sharing with you in this video 3 things that are blocking the law of attraction from working in your life in a much easier way. Because the truth is that the law of attraction is supposed to be a simple process where it's very easy to manifest what it is that you want. But a lot of people create this unnecessary resistance that makes the process much more difficult, and it creates all this pressure and this heaviness when it shouldn't actually be that way. So a lot of the concepts I'm going to be sharing with you in this video are from a book called Reality Transurfing. And a lot of the concepts in this book I've been able to combine with my personal experience and really understand deeply how a lot of things can block the manifestation process from working in your life in a very simple and easy and efficient and practical way. So if you're new to this channel, I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that notification bell because I post a new video every single day. Also, if you want to work with me one-on-one, hit the link that's in the description box of this video and apply for a free consultation to see if you're a good fit for the coaching program. So the first thing blocking the law of attraction from working in your life is perfectionism, needing everything to be perfect. Because when you need everything to be perfect, you need things to go exactly how your ego wants it to go. When you have this illusion of perfectionism, this will actually block manifestation from coming in your life, because perfectionism and this illusion can come into your life in all sorts of ways, whether it be taking action on something or needing things to go in a specific way that you think it should go, when in reality, the process of manifestation is a non-logical process, and your mind and your ego can't always understand how things work. Not to mention that from a very practical level, things needing to be perfect are always going to slow down the process of manifestation. Like for me personally, when I need my videos to be perfect, it literally slows down the whole process of me recording a video. I have to re-record the video a bunch of times, where when I let go of perfectionism, the video ends up being much better and I can record the video in one take, versus when I need things to be perfect, the whole process becomes slower. I end up recording lower quality videos where I need things to be perfect. When I'm editing my videos, I need things to be perfect. And then also, if I need to, attract a specific amount of subscribers or clients in a specific amount of time, in a specific way, where I need things to be perfectly according to my ego, this blocks the law of attraction from working in your life, because perfectionism does not exist. So let go of this illusion of things needing to be perfect, because the truth is that things don't need to be perfect. Your ego doesn't have to figure it all out. You don't have to be exactly perfect when it comes to taking action on certain things, and doesn't have to be exactly according to the way that your mind thinks. Because if you need things to be perfect, you're going to slow down the process of your manifestation. I know that for a lot of you, this might be hard to hear, because this perfectionism is something that is deeply ingrained in our subconscious mind. Now, I know that there's this heaviness because you need things to be exactly how your ego wants, but the more that you let go of this need to be perfect, the easier it will be to actually get closer to things being perfect and end up going in a much smoother way. And the way that they explain this in Reality Transurfing is that when you need things to be perfect, you're actually entering parallel realities where things are not perfect and things are very difficult. And the way that they explained it in Reality Transurfing is you're entering a lifeline and a reality in which that you wouldn't enter, where you're creating excess potential. And because you're putting so much importance on this topic and this thing, it becomes much more difficult to manifest, and you create all this unnecessary heavy energy in your experience. Because perfectionism is creating all this importance, making it much more difficult, and making the whole process of whatever it is that you're trying to manifest so much more, difficult than it really has to be. So the second thing blocking the law of attraction from working in your life is guilt. Now, the way that they explained this in Reality Transurfing was super, super interesting, because the way that they explained it is that guilt is literally not serving a purpose when it comes to law of attraction and manifestation and shifting into the reality that you prefer, because guilt is what creates excess potential as well. Guilt is what makes things much more harder than it needs to be, because when you feel guilty for something, and you feel like you need to be punished for something, or you're holding onto something from the past, the way that they explain it in reality transferring is that you're much more likely to enter a parallel reality or situation in your life that is in alignment with that feeling of you thinking you need to be punished. Because guilt is just a construct, but when you are thinking that you need to be guilty and that things need to go wrong, what happens is that this guilt will create a vibration and this feeling of guilt, which then puts you into a reality that actually is in alignment with that guilt. So if you feel guilty for something and you're in a situation with a person, the person will feel that guilt off of you, and then they'll end up doing something that is a reflection of that self-image that you have of yourself. Now, this is super critical because guilt is really interesting because it's totally not needed. It's an unnecessary emotion that you don't need to hold on to, and it usually involves holding on to something from the past. So the more that you're able to let go of this feeling of guilt and this feeling of guilt for doing anything, whether, because the way that they explain it in reality transurfing is that you don't need to explain anything to anybody. Give yourself permission to be yourself fully, and don't feel guilty for wanting to take time alone or meditate or just live your life. Don't explain yourself to others if you don't need to, because the truth is that this guilt is keeping you energetically tied to certain situations and people in your life that are not in alignment with your manifestation. You're literally energetically tied to certain situations. In reality transurfing, they call it pendulums. But the way that I see it is that you're attracted to certain vibrations that are also people that feel guilty, or they're just going to see a reflection of that guilt. So it's super critical to understand that this feeling of guilt and the way that they explain it in reality transferring is interesting, because when I connect it with the present moment and vibration and frequencies and the ego, it's all connected, because reality transurfing is just explaining the ego in a different way, and it's explaining this whole process of manifestation in a way where it's pretty much exactly what it means. Like, it's the same thing as being connected to the moment, but reality transurfing explains it in a way that's very practical and easy for us to understand. So the third thing that is blocking the law of attraction from working in your life is excess potential, which pretty much just means putting too much importance on something. Now, I want to be honest with you. This is something that I'm totally guilty of, no pun intended, because last point was guilt. But the way that they explain it in reality transurfing is that when you put too much importance on something, you create something called excess potential. Now, I find this super interesting when I connect this with the present moment, because what excess potential really is the way that they explain it in this book is there's an imbalance in the energies of how things usually work in nature. And when you're in alignment with, how things are supposed to be, you don't create excess potential. You don't make things more important than they need to be. And you see the neutrality of how life really is. So you don't put things as too important, or you don't undermine the importance. You just see them as neutral. Because reality is inherently totally neutral, but we either make things too important or we over-exaggerate how bad things are when it's just totally neutral. Now, it's interesting because excess potential and making things too important will ultimately slow down the process of your manifestation. And I know that for a lot of you, you've probably experienced this where you need things to be exactly perfect, which connects back to perfectionism and guilt, by the way, because importance ultimately reflects back into all the other things that are blocking your manifestation. Whether it be guilt, anxiety, fear, worry, which all block manifestation, by the way, which all come from the ego, it all comes from excess potential, where you're not in a natural balance and harmony with the energies of the universe and how the universe really works. Because the truth is that when you're in alignment with how the universe really works, and you're in alignment with the present moment, what happens is that you're able to not resist the moment. You're able to not make things too important. You're able to not blow things out of proportion, and you're able to manifest what it is that you want faster. And I know it's counterintuitive because, I'm guilty of this. When I'm recording my videos or I want subscribers, the more that I make things important, and the more that I check my subscribers, and the more that I make things more difficult, the more that I let my ego get in the way, the more that I create this importance, it energetically blocks me from stepping into that reality in a much easier way. The more that I just let go, doesn't mean that I'm not taking the action. I still record a video daily. I still post the video daily. I still comment. I still respond to all my comments. I'm taking the same actions. But then after I'm done all of that, I have to just stop making things so important. Just go to the gym, go read a book, go take more action on something else, record a guided meditation MP3. But if I'm just sitting there and checking my subscribers and making things way too important, I will literally notice that my subscriber count is slower. Like literally, this always happens when I just let go and I go to the gym and I start focusing on other things with the assumption that I'm still taking action on my goal. Manifestation becomes so much easier. Now, the question is, what are you making too important in your life? Because you can apply this to money. You can apply this to relationships. They even talked about this in reality transurfing, is if you make money so important that you can't spend it and allow money to flow energetically into your life, you're creating an energetic block. So you want to spend money wisely. Don't spend all your money, but don't hold on to your money either. Because if you make anything too important and your ego clings onto something, and you're not connected deeply to the present moment and the truth of who you are beyond the ego. And by the way, that's what creates importance, is the ego construct attaching to all these realities that don't really exist. When you make things too important, it almost creates this energetic block where you literally raise up the heaviness in your body. Like there's this heavy energy associated with importance that makes things much more difficult that really doesn't need to be there. Now, I found this very, very interesting when I combine this with the present moment and consciousness and awareness and all that kind of stuff, because what reality transurfing is saying is that if your ego is getting involved in the process of your manifestation, you create excess importance, you create excess heavy energy, and then you create an imbalance. Because when you're in harmony with the present moment, you don't make things too important. When you don't let your ego get in the way, what happens is you enter the flow state. Things become very light. Things become very easy. You can still take action, but things become very effortless and easy, and you're not forcing the process. You're going with the current of the river. Now, a lot of people don't do this. Their egos are getting in the way, and I can explain it in a different way where you're just making things too important. Okay, I could go into the deeper explanation of the ego and the unconsciousness and all these deeper things. But what's the truth here? The truth is that you're making things too important. You know, there's too much excess potential. There's unnecessary energy given to things that are not that important. Now, I understand you have goals. I have goals. I want to attract things. But when I make them too important, counterintuitively, it slows down the process. So what's the solution here to all of this? Don't fight your emotions. Accept that you have them, but just consciously shift your awareness to something else. Consciously shift your awareness away from being perfect. Just consciously tell yourself, okay, I don't have to be perfect. I'm just going to do this, switch over to the next thing, take more action on something else. Of course, the core of all of this is to be more present to the moment and connect deeper to who you really are beyond the ego, not letting the ego get in the way, but just stop making things perfect. Don't be so attached to the outcome, for that point at least. For the second point, don't feel guilty for wanting to do certain things. Because the way they explained it in reality transurfing is that if you just give yourself permission to be yourself and not explain yourself to anybody from a rationalizing point of view, that removes all the guilt. Just accept whatever has happened, forgive yourself, and just move on. That's all you can really do. Of course, you can connect deeper to the present moment and purge all these things. That's a whole separate video. But just for this video and the purposes of this moment right now, just give yourself permission to be yourself. Accept what has happened in the past and don't judge yourself. Now, for the third point, what you really need to do is just consciously decrease importance. That's all you have to do. Just don't make things more important than they need to be. Realize that everything in reality is inherently neutral, and our minds and our ego labels things as more important than they need to be, when the truth is that everything is neutral. Okay, so me getting 500,000 subscribers or 1,000, 2,000, 100,000, it's all just a number and it's inherently neutral, right? So no number that I ever achieve is good or bad or worse or better. It's just a number. Now, from the ego's point of view, that doesn't make sense, but it makes sense from a universal perspective. Okay, in the bigger picture, things are all equally as important, and you want to step out of that ego limited perspective and see the neutrality of everything and consciously decrease the importance and just make it natural for you to achieve what you want. Because the only thing creating this importance is your ego and your current reality, not making that new reality normal. Just normalize that reality that you want to be in. Just totally normalize and remove the heaviness and resistance around being where you are, and then the excitement of where you want to be. Don't over exaggerate things. Just neutralize it. Where I am now, it's totally cool. Where I'm going to be a year from now when I achieve my goal, that's cool as well. Okay, it's just a simple, like, no matter what happens, I'm still neutral perspective, right? That is the perspective you want to have when it comes to manifesting. Don't make things too important. Don't put it on a pedestal. Don't make it your current situation any worse, even though you want that thing. Don't make it so heavy. Don't make it so difficult. Just trust the process, take the action, tell the universe that you're going to achieve that thing, and then let the universe take care of the rest and just enjoy the process. So that's all I have for this video. If you want to download my free guided meditation, hit the link that's in the description box of this video, and I'll also leave it as a comment in this video. So you can try that out. It's totally free. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.